Our family is a family of faith that chooses to use secular curriculum in our homeschool. Hi guys, it's Amanda with Eat, Pray, Crunch, and today I am talking about why our family is a family of faith that chooses to use secular curriculum in our homeschool. I want to give a shout out to Michelle G and to Amber at This Unruly Nest. I recently connected with these amazing women and they have awesome YouTube channels. We have lately been calling each other unicorns because we are kind of the unusual, progressive-minded people of faith who also homeschool, because we are definitely a rare breed. So if you are interested in the kind of thing that I do on my channel, check out their channels as well. I will link them in the description below. They have actually inspired me to make this video because they have made similar videos recently. And you know, this is something that I have kind of done all along, but I never actually thought to make an overt video about why I consider myself to be a Christian yet prefer to use secular curriculum. Before I go any further, if you've not seen the video that I recently made telling my whole faith journey and how I came to be a progressive, I hate putting labels on it, but moderately progressive Christian, I highly encourage you to watch that video first, because that will make this video make a lot more sense. Because I'm not going to go into all of the why I believe what I believe in this video. That's in that video. So I think probably a lot in that video explains why we are people of faith but choose secular curriculum. We are more moderately progressive Christians. To just be straightforward with it, so much of the Christian curriculum that's out there for homeschoolers is very conservative. So basically it comes down to a lot of that ultra-conservative worldview is not our worldview. And there is a lot of things that I take issue with in a lot of those curriculums, unfortunately. In public schools, I absolutely believe that there should be the separation of church and state. It's there for a reason. We don't want a religiously run state by any religion, and that includes Christianity. When you homeschool, you can homeschool however you want. You can incorporate faith into your homeschool or you cannot. We do incorporate our faith and we talk about it as part of our conversation in just about every subject, but I do not think that the curriculum that we use needs to have some sort of Christian lens to it. Subjects just can stand on their own two legs. Like math is math, science is science, reading is reading. All of these things, they don't, in my perspective, have to, like the curriculum itself doesn't have to have a Christian worldview in the curriculum. Like we just organically talk about our faith and how it incorporates into all these subjects all the time. It doesn't have to be this forced thing in a curriculum for me. You know, my kids developing their faith is a very organic process and it does not need to be forced. So that's one of the main reasons that we choose secular homeschool. Now, that said, if you've seen some of my homeschool hauls, you'll see that there are a couple of things that we have done that are Christian based, like the good and the beautiful. However, I will do another video talking about why I will be moving more away from the good and the beautiful, because there are some things that I don't like about it that have to do with my worldview, but I'll talk about that in that video. So I have been open to trying Christian curricula, but I have found them to be lacking in one way or another, or trying to show a particular worldview that just does not align with ours. A big thing for people who use secular curriculum, whether they are people of faith or not, is science and history. Because of my moderately progressive Christian beliefs, I have a very strong feeling that in terms of like science, I want my kids to learn about evolution and the reality of evolution, and that the entire scientific community in the world believes in evolution. Now, that's not to say that you can't fold faith into that. I personally believe that God had very much a hand in evolution and the creation of life through evolution. I don't think these things are mutually exclusive, and I see this a lot in conservative Christian homeschooling families, or where they want to teach young earth creation. The earth was created in literal 7 days. Like, I just think it's so much more nuanced than that, and is really doing a disservice to kids to teach them something that is utterly unscientific and something that is known to be truth by the worldwide scientific community. So we talk about our faith and how God maybe played a role in science and perhaps setting in motion the scientific processes of the universe and of life and of things like that, and how amazing and awe-inspiring that is, and how that can make you feel closer to God. Learning about the realities of science can make you have a deeper faith. That has been my experience. But that is why I choose especially secular science, because that is so important for me in teaching my children about science. History. I absolutely want to be teaching my children real history, not the whitewashed history that has been taught throughout the history of a lot of the American school system. It is starting to change for the better, so don't get me wrong, it is starting to get better in public schools, but there is a huge pushback against teaching real history amongst the conservative Christian homeschooling world, and thinking that that's causing division and causing racial divides. And no, it is teaching what actually happened. And I think that it is important to teach kids that white colonists came and annihilated almost the entire Native American population and brought droves of slaves over on slave ships. And it's important that we understand that people like Thomas Jefferson was a slave owner who slept with his slaves and things like that. There's just a lot of ugly history that has been sugar-coated and whitewashed, and I think it is critically important to talk about those things and teach them to our children, so we, going forward into future generations, do not make the same mistakes that we have made in the past. We have to know history if we're not going to repeat it. That's not to say that all of history is bad. There's a lot of great things in history as well, and we learn about that as well. There's a lot of good there too, but it's important that we have the whole comprehensive picture, not just this narrow little myopic view, viewing history through a very specific cultural lens that paints history as all sunshine and rainbows, because it's not. And that's really important to me, that my kids learn those things. So that's another reason that we choose secular history. So like I said, I'm not totally against using faith-based curricula, but I have found that a lot of the time there is a lot of political undertones in that curricula that I don't agree with. And so I'm not going to use it. And that really leaves me with secular curricula, which I am totally fine using. I went through the public school system as a kid. Wonderful experience. If it weren't for having neurodiverse kids myself, that is the reason we homeschool, is because we have neurodiverse kids. We have one who is gifted with autism. We also have the other two with ADHD. And the reason we homeschool is to meet their needs, not to indoctrinate them. So using secular standards and secular curricula is where it's at for me. So those are the main reasons why I choose secular curricula as a person of faith. I think that if you saw my previous video about my faith journey, you'll see why it is so important for my kids to learn through a secular lens, because I want them to develop their own understanding of the world, their own beliefs, their own opinions, their own critical thinking, to come up with their own conclusions rather than me forcing them to believe something. And in order for them to do that, they need to be given facts, real hardcore facts throughout their education. They need to be well educated. They need to learn how to think critically. They need to learn how to learn on their own and to think for themselves. And I think that that is going to be achieved through teaching them via secular curriculum. Anyway, I hope that all makes sense. Would love to have a discussion about it in the comments below. Do you use secular curriculum? What are your reasons? I would love to have a conversation about it. Please keep it respectful. I'm willing to talk about all points of view as long as it is kept respectful. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video interesting. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next video. Bye guys.